All right, we are live. Welcome to the Spinnin Backfist MMA show for Tuesday, April 15th, post UFC 314 edition. It is Robbie, Fox, Big Ev, and Jack Mac here as always, and we are brought to you by DraftKings, our friends over at DraftKings. That is right. The NBA 82 game grid is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and now it's time for the high stakes drama, the clutch moments, and the jaw dropping plays. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as the official sports betting partner of the NBA. From the play-in games all the way to the finals, now's your time to back your favorite players and teams as they chase glory. All season long, DraftKings has been the go-to spot for NBA player props, and that doesn't stop now. Will they drop 30 points, 40, or more? It's your call. Ready to place your first bet? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Lock in your bets, and let's make some playoff runs unforgettable. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code BACKFIST. That's code BACKFIST for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. There we go. Shout out DraftKings. We love DraftKings. Shout out Vince in the chat. Shout out Cameron in the chat. They're already hyped about 314. Vince is saying, "Oi, lads, Paddy smoked them, lads." Cameron saying, "John motherfucking Silva." It's going to be fun. We'll talk 314 today. We'll talk some MMA news. We'll talk some PFL World Tournament. How are we doing?
Great. I think everyone wants to hear from you, Bob. We want to hear we want to hear your day of 314 with Dave, ringside, yep. Paddy. Give it to us.
It was awesome. Went down to Miami the night before. Met up with Dave before the fights. We went out to a nice dinner. Took me, and we were with a guy named Josh Isner too, who he calls Riggs Sugar Daddy on the rundown. That's how he refers to him. But the three of us went to dinner beforehand, got some chicken parm Italian, went right to the arena. Secret Service off the hook in terms of like lockdown. And I've been to UFC events with Trump before. I even went to one, I think, where Trump and Elon were there. I think Trump and Elon went to one of the MSG cards or something. But this was like way more security than I've ever seen. They made us pop the hood of the car and the trunk of the car. I've never seen pop the hood, but they made them pop the hood, checked. Then when we go to walk in, we get to like the VIP entrance because I'm there with Dave, not as press this time. And it was the first UFC fight I went to not as press since McGregor-Khabib. Because at that point, McGregor gave me a ticket to sit next to a security guard because I was getting so many death threats that week. So that was like already like it was a weird experience going into UFC without a backpack and a laptop. I felt like I was forgetting something the whole time. But we go to walk into the VIP entrance and we hear someone yelling behind us like, go, quick, get in there. And we're like, what the fuck is going on? It was because Chandler was walking in behind us. So they were like shoving us into the building. Chandler's doing his like filmed walk-in where him and the family are getting into the arena. And Dave like looks at me, and Dave's wearing a Paddy the Batty shirt and I'm wearing a Paddy the Batty hoodie. And he's like, oh no, this is awkward. I hope he doesn't see us. We get in and they're like, you got to wait for Chandler. So they wanted Chandler to go in first. And Chandler just walked right up to Dave. I don't think he said anything to Dave. He might've said like, hi, but it was like very like, kind of like got close to him, shook his hand, then like got close to me, shook my hand, didn't say anything to me. But we're wearing Paddy the Batty merch. It was so awkward. Like his whole camp, his whole family, they're seeing us. We're standing there like such like losers, just like waiting to go in. That was how the night kicked off. Very awkward. Not a fan of his, but he is getting done dirty in the rankings, kind of. Oh, shout out Adam Fox in the chat, former New York Ranger. So we get to the seats. Very nice when they like take you through. There's like a VIP lounge that I didn't even know exists for the celebrities. It's like a bar backstage. Very cool. They take us through to the seats. I think the first person that we saw like the entire night was Shaq. Like Shaq just came right up to Dave and he kind of like pulled them up. He kind of like really, really bullied Dave, pulled them up. And I think he said like, you didn't lose all that money, Dave. Like stop lying to these people. And talking about the stock market. And Dave was like, what are you talking about? I did lose all that money. And then Shaq looked at me, shook my hand, engulfed. Like my hand was just an ant in Shaq's hand. He was wearing the biggest Superman chain too. I don't know if you guys saw that on the broadcast. the biggest Superman chant. It was like the coolest Shaq like look you could ever ask for. But that was cool seeing Shaq. That was like that's a great celebrity to kick the night off with, where you're like, all right, Shaq's here. Just met Shaq.
Bob, I got to interject just a quick second. Wild that Shaq was there. The day before, I was at a wedding in Atlanta. The day before, the hotel we were staying in, that was kind of like the like party like block like wedding blocked off hotel where like the bride and groom and like families all that were staying at. Shaq was just there the day before.
Get out of here!
My very close
friend. The Spinnin Backfist show and Shaq are just like linked this
weekend. I literally get to the hotel and I see the groom like for the first time, who's like my very close friend, and he's like, "Yo, like I just met Shaq," and I was like, "What?" Like, yeah, he was like, I literally just saw him at the hotel. Like, I literally just saw him like 10 minutes ago. So then it was so ironic. Then like the next day, you guys just run into him. He's at the fights.
And there was a great video. Dave put up a video that Josh Isner took from behind us, where it's like from like an angle where weirdly Dave doesn't look that short compared to Shaq. It's like, I mean, Shaq is double Dave. It's like insane how tall he is in person. But in the video, it looked okay. It looked decent. Trying to think who the like instant celebs we met at this front of the show were too. Damon John was there, came up to Dave. Steve will do it was there, came up to Dave. Yep. Aiden Ross was sitting right behind us with his dad. So we talked a little bit about the card he put on. He did like the MMA event the night before with the Island Boys and shit. And I was talking to him about Jeremy Smith because he was the little person rough and rowdy champ, and he fought in Aiden Ross's event as well. He fought like a tall guy too. And Dave couldn't wrap his mind around that. I was like, he fought a tall guy. He's like, what do you mean he fought a tall guy? I was like, he fought a fucking tall guy. They put him in there, and he took the tall guy down and ground and pounded him. I think he was like a first round TKO. And none of the shots, they weren't like devastating shots, but he took this guy, and he wasn't like a jacked tall guy. He was like a real skinny, like almost like my body type. But this fucking Jeremy Smith guy took him down, fucking ground him down. So I was talking to Aiden Ross about that. Aiden Ross, a bunch of people around Dave.
There was hilarious
the yarmulke out.
There was a hilarious moment in the Aiden Ross MMA stream when Dana and Hunter were on the call, and the Island Boy got just like completely knocked out. He didn't know where he was, and the ref stopped it. And Aiden's like, "That's an awful stoppage." And then Dana and Hunter were like, "No, bro, he did not know where he was." No. It was very funny. It was like an amateur MMA, and the Island Boy, I don't know which one it was. Truly, he was almost out on his feet. And Aiden was like, "That's an awful stoppage, man. Awful stoppage."
Yeah. Aiden says in the clip, he's like, "We need Herb Dean out here. Like, let these boys fight." And Dana and Hunter are like, No, absolutely not. So that was funny. RFK and his wife Cheryl came out before like any of the Trump walkout stuff. Like they were there earlier, and Dave completely like fanboyed over Cheryl because of Curb. He loves Curb so much that he was like, I don't even care about anyone else here. Like tapped Cheryl on the shoulder. And I rarely have ever seen Dave do this, but he just tapped her on the shoulder and was like, I just got to say I'm a massive fan. Didn't even really like introduce himself or anything. Just wanted to be like, I'm such a big fan. She was just like, oh, thanks for saying that, and kept walking. And Dave said he's only done that to like 4 people in his life. But anyone from Curb, he goes crazy for.
Did she know who he was or no?
I don't know. I almost got the vibe, no. Like she definitely could have, but all she said back was, thank you for saying that. And then like kept it moving.
And then obviously
RFK took a fucking Zin from the crowd too. Like someone behind RFK was like, you want a Zin? And he took it and he held it up and he put it in.
And then
I thought that was crazy for someone in his position. Like, what if someone's trying to poison you, dude, with a fucking
he just killed him with a Zin?
Yeah.
Cheryl had the moment of the night. She had the moment of the night.
Yeah, that went real viral. Yeah,
did you see Trump it happen?
No, they were too far down on the other end. But as soon as it happened, I think maybe Dave or Josh like showed it to me, and they immediately put the Curb music on it. Like immediately they had the Curb credits ready to go. And she's like, But I did see there was a moment later on where they were like holding hands and he was like acknowledging her. So I saw some people being like, she said something bad about him, so he freaked out on her. I actually do think he was just distracted. I don't know.
Obviously, I said it. I sent you a text. during the day when we learned Trump was going, I was like, Robbie, you gotta like go viral, like give him the middle finger or something. But
I didn't go full Bill Burr's wife when she was behind him giving him the fucking double birds.
Yeah, that would have been.
I did give the double birds to Bryce Mitchell at one point.
Oh yeah,
we saw that back and did the thumbs down because I was like, the double birds might be too aggressive. I know he's a Nazi, but I don't want to get my ass kicked.
Tell the story about how Bryce Mitchell's corner was like engaging with Dave in the middle of the fight.
Yeah. So this was really funny. So Dave is saying the whole event, you know, he brought the flag, he brought the yarmulke. He wanted a full rabbi outfit, but it was Passover, and all of the stores where you would maybe be able to purchase a thing like that were closed for Passover. So he's like, all right, I'll settle for the yarmulke and the flag. And he's hyping everyone up around, not hyping everyone up, but when he takes the yarmulke out, like Aiden Ross is like, let's fucking go, Dave. And then Steiny in the back is like, let's fucking go, Dave. And then like, even like old people in front of Dave, like security people are like, we need this one, Dave. Like, let's go. Oh, the lights are out. Undertaker's coming in for Jack. So I tell Dave is like, how close are they going to be to us? Kind of like, what corner is he going to be? I said, they're going to be in our corner. They're going to be in the corner closest to us. When I realized, okay, red corner, blue corner, whatever. And he's like, all right, as long as he's in the cage, I'll yell as loud as I can. And I was like, all right. I said, listen, you set the energy level and I'll match it. I'll have your back, like toe to toe. Oh, and you know what else was funny? Before this, Justin Gaethje walked in. And Dave was like, do you have my back right now? I was like, yeah, I have your back right now. I was like, I got your back. I won't let him touch you. And then Gaethje like walked past and like locked eyes with Dave and kind of gave him like a nod. Like there was some acknowledgement there, but Dave was like, I don't think he recognized me, and thank God. But like I was like the whole night, I was like, I don't know. You think he did?
No shot.
Or no?
I was gonna say, if Gaethje recognized Dave, it's the upset of the century. Gaethje, after he got called out by Paddy, was like, huh? It was unbelievable.
He really was.
That's so yeah, I actually don't think he did recognize him, but he did he gave him the look of like, where do I know you from? Almost like one of those, and then kept walking. And Dave was like, whew, because like they had their beef back in the day or whatever. Dave thought he wanted to kick his ass. So
honestly,
Bryce Mitchell comes out.
That would have been a tough one for Dave because they would have been looking eye to eye and they would have been like the same size.
Yeah. It was
probably like almost identical, like height and weight.
Yes. So Bryce Mitchell comes out. We're stunned that the crowd's going nuts for him. Like it wasn't even like, it didn't even sound like there was a little bit of booze. Like it was just people were going nuts. USA, USA. And meanwhile, me and Dave are there going, Nazi! Hitler! Dave's going, Hitler lover! Hitler lover! Hitler lover! And the security and the Secret Service around Dave are turning around looking at him like, we thought this guy was normal. What the fuck is he yelling about? Like, I don't think everyone is even fully aware of the Bryce Mitchell context. So when a UFC fighter comes out and Dave's going, you're a Nazi! You're a Nazi! You're a Nazi! Everyone, and we're 10 feet away from Elon and Trump. And he's screaming at the top of his lungs. I'm screaming, boo, boo. Everyone around us is looking at us. Then the corner, like I want to say it was like after the first round, they come back around. He's going, Nazi, Nazi. The corner turns, yells at Dave, he's not a Nazi. And Dave goes, he said Hitler's a good guy. And like screaming over the music, the crowd, like, it was the funniest fucking scenario you could imagine. And the whole like booing thing. So before that, they showed us on camera. And it was cool because the camera guy was like close to Dave. And me and Dave were talking. And then the camera guy like takes a step back and lets us know he's like, the two of you. And I was like, oh, fuck, that's fucking cool. I'm going to be put on camera with Dave. So they put us on camera. Shout out John Anik. Actually said my name on the broadcast, which I thought was awesome as well. He said, like, Dave Portnoy there with Robbie Fox. Screenshotted that or video recorded, sent it to my mom. She thought it was great. So thanks, Anik, for that. But we got a little bit of booze. Like, it wasn't like, it didn't sound like there was a pop, at least. It was like, they showed us, we're going, Paddy the Baddy, let's go. It sounded like there was a little smattering of booze. And we looked at each other. We were like, oh, fuck, Paddy's going to get booed tonight. Like, we're in Florida. I guess it makes sense. Chandler's such a USA guy. Trump's here. I mean, he is a Florida guy himself. I guess Paddy's going to get booed tonight. And then Paddy comes out. Place goes fucking nuts. Oh, Paddy the Baddy. And immediately me and Dave, it was like almost a Curb episode in and of itself. We looked at each other. We were like, I think we got booed. I think it was us. I don't know. Dave on the rundown got a lot of shit last night for saying that it was the two of us that got booed. And Big Cat and KFC were like, I think you got booed and Robbie was there. But I'll take credit. I said me and Dave, very polarizing figures. But yeah, and then after that, like in terms of obviously we'll talk about the fights, but Paddy we didn't see, unfortunately. We thought we were going to get a chance to see him. He came in like 20 minutes after Chandler. I was texting Blaze. Apparently we like walked past their van, but they weren't letting him in yet. And then we wanted to go maybe see him afterwards, after the win, of course, but because of Secret Service and Trump and everything, it wasn't like they were allowing anyone into the locker room, which is because a fighter or something. Which understandable. When Paddy won, like the second he got the finish, he looked up and me and Dave were right there. We were making eye contact, going crazy. You could see it in one of the videos they posted. So that was like the only contact we really had with him. We texted him or whatever. I was texting Blaze before, and Dave texted Paddy, and Dana came over to Dave and said, like, get in a cage. He was like, you want to go get in the cage, celebrate with him? And Dave looked at me. He's like, I don't think so. I think that would be a little bit awkward. And Dana was really like, no, get in the fucking cage. Like, he's your boy. Like, you were the one that was like supporting him. Get in the cage. He would love it. And Dave was like, I can't do that. He was like, what? He's going to look up and I'm just going to be standing there. He's like, what if Michael Chandler's still in the cage? Bloody face. And Dave is just standing there like awkwardly. I think it was the right call for Dave. Like, obviously it would have been cool. And I don't think Paddy would have had an issue with it. But I think it was the right call being like, nah, I'll let him have his moment. So I thought that was cool.
I mean, Bob, when me and you did it at PFL, even for like Talia Santos, I've never felt more out of place in my life than
so awkward.
My big ass.
We weren't like dressed properly. I was in like this t-shirt. Like I was just like,
yeah, I'm
okay. You're giving that awkward smile to everyone. Just
and that was a fight with like girl fight, 0 damage, stakes are low. Like I didn't even think about the Chandler part of it. Like looking up and just seeing Chandler like battered and bruised, and like he's got to look at
Dave
you.
Likes Chandler too.
Yeah,
Chandler's like a huge high noon guy, tagging Dave all the time. Like Dave does really like Chandler. He wishes that this fight didn't happen, but it would have been weird.
Yeah, wearing the Paddy the Baddy merch, like stuff. He honestly, Chandler handles it better than almost any other fighter does, though. I give him credit.
Yeah, definitely. And what's funny about Dave's Paddy the Baddy merch? He, I guess, texted maybe Blaze or Paddy beforehand and said, I need some Paddy merch to wear to the fight and need some new stuff. So they said, all right, we're going to drop stuff off for you. And they dropped off that shirt that he was wearing. It says like Glow Paddy the Baddy. And Dave put it on. It was like sick shirt. And I think halfway through dinner, I think Josh, the guy we were with, was like, hey, what's up with the weed shirt? And Dave didn't realize the back of the shirt was just a huge weed leaf because it's Paddy the Baddy's weed strain. That was the shirt that he's wearing. Dave had no idea. He was like, what do you mean weed shirt? Why are you calling it a weed shirt? We were like, well, there's a giant weed leaf on the back of that shirt. So you're wearing a weed shirt. I had to take a picture and show it to him. He's like, oh, all right. I don't really mind. That's okay. But it was just funny, like funny part of the night. We met like people from Meta. They came over and gave us Meta glasses. So I got a pair of those now with the camera in them.
Sick.
Trying to think of anything else like of the night that was like funny or like celeb section wise. Oh, Bruce Buffer. That was really funny. He was towards the beginning of the night, came over to us, knew who Dave was right away, of course, and is like, oh, big fan of what you've built at Barstool. He actually gave Dave his business card, was like, maybe we could work together one day. And then he kind of saw me sitting there. And I've met Bruce Buffer in passing. He's come over, used my phone charger during a fight, or I think I filmed a quick video with him during COVID where he was doing crazy stretches before he fucking did a main event announcement. But I knew he probably didn't remember me. So he looks at me and he goes, oh, Dave, is this your boy? And Dave goes, yeah, just like so joyfully, not realizing Bruce Buffer's not like, yo, is this your boy? He's asking Dave if I was his son. And Dave gleefully answered yes. And then Bruce puts his hand out. He's like, it's very nice to meet you, son. Like shakes my hand. He's like, yeah, Dave is like, starts to like be like, basically like your father, very successful man. Like you should be proud, essentially. And I'm like, I got to cut you off right there, Bruce. I am not Dave's son. And Dave like processed it in that moment. That was very funny. Bruce Buffer was definitely thrown off of it. He was like, what? Oh, all You're just his friend. And then Dave pointed to my hat. He's like, he works for me. I was wearing a Barstool hat. He's like, oh, that makes sense. Okay. Saw Joe Benavidez, got to catch up with him. Saw John Anik, got to catch up with him. Saw John Anik's brother, got to catch up with him very briefly. Who else? Anyone fighter-wise I saw? I don't think fighter-wise. We saw fighters leaving towards the end of the night, like Kayla Harrison and Juliana Pena, and like a couple of the fighters that were in fighter row. But I think that's pretty much obviously when Trump came in, Dave said to him, Dave had a line pre like planned in his mind, because I guess Dave was afraid that because of the CNN appearance and kind of the stuff that he's been saying on tariffs, he's like, I don't want this guy to like get one over on me, be able to like dunk on me for the tariffs. So Dave is like, before he says anything, I'm going to mention the bill about the water pressure, because he just signed the executive order saying we need showers to have good water pressure. So that's what Dave said to him. I think Dave said that too. You could tell he points to the hair. He's like, I love the water pressure thing, and Trump loved it. Cracked up. And he kind of gave Dave the classic Trump shoulder pull as well. Jerry had the tweet, how's the shoulder? Because he kind of does the fucking power move. Oh, I'm pulling the shoulder in, buddy. You're coming to me, essentially.
He does one of the more dominating handshakers of probably ever, maybe ever.
Yeah. And it's crazy. Still, people don't see it coming. Like, I think Dave was maybe even a little taken aback, but there comes fucking, you come to me. And then Elon was there with his kid the whole night. We couldn't believe the kid was awake the whole night. That was maybe the most stunning. Dave was yawning. He's like, I don't know how I'm awake. I don't know how the kid's awake. Kid was just watching the Masters, the whole card.
Just watching replays?
Yeah. Elon's TV was just replays of the Masters that day. And it was just all Masters.
That's so funny.
He's like, get some fucking Yo Gabba Gabba on for the kid or something. Some fucking Miss Rachel, whatever it could be.
I was shocked. I asked you, I was like, did the kid have an iPad or something to like distract him? Because now
just the Masters TV.
How was Dave's reaction to UFC? Did he, obviously he's been to UFC events before, he's seen MMA, but do you think he left a bigger MMA fan, or is he just still kind of he rides for his guys, and then like was he locked into the main event or not really?
Like, yeah, I would say like it all depended on how entertaining the fight was. So the prelims, I felt like there was a couple of them that were pretty underwhelming. Like the Chase Hooper, Jim Miller fight obviously wasn't the most entertaining, exciting fight. The Verna John DeRoba fight wasn't all that great. So like those fights, he was definitely bored. I could definitely get a sense that he was bored, and I felt almost responsible. Like I wanted to be the promoter in Russia that went into the cage, was like, fight's over. I know it's the first round. It's over. Get in the back. You're fired. Like I was like, I need some action for my guy Dave, because I can't have I was hyping up the card before, and I was like, this card's going to be sick. We're going to see some finishes. We're going to see some great fights. Thank God the main card was very good. Like every fight on the main card, I felt like at least Dave was entertained by, locked in by. I would be able to tell him, a little bit about each fighter that would make him interested in the fight. Dominic Reyes, this is a guy who went on a couple skids, or he went on a skid, but now he's on a win streak again. Isn't Dave a big Woodson guy? He's a big Sean Woodson guy. Loves Sean Woodson.
Always a serious sniper. Always talking about him.
Always. Aiden and Steiny hyping up Dave. LMAO. They were hyping up Dave. They were stoked about it. They were absolutely, and they had funny exchanges back and forth. I guess Aiden at one point had a good bet that he could have hedged, and he was like, Dave, you ever hedge? And Dave was like, absolutely not. Hedging's for gardeners. And he's like, oh, come on, Dave. And Dave's like, I mean, granted, I'm conservatively down, a lot of money in my life, so maybe hedging would be smart, but you can never hedge. And he was just giving him shit for hedging all night. He's every time he'd be like, I might hedge. He'd be like, Gardner. Just throw back the Gardner line.
Did Dave bet? Did he bet any of the fights?
No, he didn't. And I thought he would, but he didn't. I bet all the fights. I bet every fight on the card just because I wanted to. Yeah, and I wound up on the night. I was excited. I went 5-0 on the main card. I was happy about that.
Because I was kind of I was surprised. I was expecting to see like a slip of Dave betting like 500K on Gene Silva, like something crazy.
yeah.
Especially
we were nervous for that fight too. That fight we were almost as nervous as we were for Paddy.
Yeah, I mean,
that was just like, we need a win. Yeah, Dave was like, we really need to win. And it was starting to make me nervous when he was getting real cocky in there. Like when he drops him, he's like, get up right away. It's like, all right, no, I know that you're in control, Silva, but like, please make sure you don't get clipped or make a quick mistake and a takedown and a fucking rear naked choke. Thank God. I mean, we of course wanted the knockout. We got the submission. I couldn't believe how many people were upset about the boo in between rounds. But and Bryce Mitchell, credit to him, he's got a fucking huge fan base. I said boo. He said Hitler's a good guy. Apparently, boo was much worse for a lot of people out there. But that fight was a big, like, afterwards, it was a big deep breath of like, all right, we got through the first of our 2 battles tonight. Now we just need Paddy. And as soon as Paddy won, it was like we just enjoyed the main event because it was like, all right, the 2 fights we really needed to go one way went one way. And I explained to Dave, it's like the 2 guys in the main event are like the most likable, wholesome guys in the UFC. I will not be upset whatsoever if one of them wins and one of them loses. Like, I'll be happy for whoever wins, essentially.
One of the takeaways that I've had, obviously, Evan and I did a recap right after, and we were very complimentary of Diego Lopez, but he is the first guy ever to lose to a guy over 35 in the lower weight classes in a championship fight. Like, I know it's Volk, but is that a little bit?
That's a big part.
It's a big part, but I guess that's my cue to stop that take because the lights are like,
Volk cut the power.
Turn those lights off. Let me turn back on. I was thinking about it from okay, what's the opposite perspective? Not to say that means Diego's bad, but he is the first guy to lose.
What could he have done? He fought such a good fight. What could he have done differently, do you think?
I think
anything, or was it just Volk is better?
I think early on I honestly think in the 4th round he had his moment that he could have went to finish, and he kind of just he kind of just, I don't know what it was. Maybe he was too tired.
More combinations, more
But yeah, I thought he maybe could have done more. But
they're saying Alex Visa's leg kicks. Volk's leg, he did hit some leg kicks. I felt like Volk was working the jab so well. I don't know how you work around that necessarily. Like Volk's jab was on fire the entire night.
Yeah, I just thought he should have been more aggressive early, and I agree with Jack 100%. In the 4th round, especially hindsight's 2020, Volk talking about that he literally couldn't see. But when you see Volk, who never does this, just running like that. In that moment, he was just running and running and running away.
You gotta go.
Like Lopez should have taken that as like, I need to go now. And especially,
I thought he did that well in the 5th round. Then,
yes, but
it was like he was walking him down.
Like I agree, he should have did that when he had him hurt because I think that was his chance. Because he wasn't going to win a decision. Like I think even people saying they thought it was like 2-2. Like I was like, this is 3-1 in my opinion. I thought it was 3-0 like out of the gate, and then he won the 4th. Like I thought he needed a finish after the 3rd round.
Yeah, I knew it probably as soon as they read a 46-40 or a 49-46, obviously it's going
for sure.
That was obvious, but like total, I think, respect for Diego Lopez. Like even a fan like Dave, who I don't know if he ever saw Diego Lopez fight before that night, I think came out of that being like, holy fuck, the chin on that guy's insane. Like there's some of the shots that he took were outrageous. I thought Paddy's chin held up really well in the Chandler fight as well. I know he didn't really get hit a lot, but Chandler hit him with 1, maybe 2 or 3, I want to say, where I was like, oh, fuck.
The fact that Chandler didn't get knocked down from that knee from Paddy is insane. I didn't realize it live until I watched it back, even after our stream. I was looking that. Paddy landed that as clean as you can. Like that could have been an instant KO.
In an instant. It was so quick how much he was like bleeding instantly. It was crazy.
Instantly. And he just hit it so clean, so much momentum. Yeah. Chandler was right there. And man, Paddy's striking looked really good in there. I think that people will downplay it. They'll say Chandler's washed, but that was huge. And who do you want next for him, Robbie?
I go back and forth. Like Gaethje, I think would be awesome, but I don't know if he's getting Gaethje. I don't know if they're willing to give him.
Did you see Habib's comments today
about wanting Islam Gaethje?
Yeah, Ali Abdelaziz is pushing Gaethje Islam as they have been for a while, and then Habib said, "Oh, with Ilia, why does Islam want to fight Ilia? He could come up to 155. Islam could beat him. Then Ilia could lose another fight at 155. It doesn't help his legacy. So he wants to fight guys who have been at 155 for the entire time, which I see what he's saying. But also, let's be real. Islam beats Ilia. And I know hindsight will be 2020 and 2030. But if Islam beats Ilia, that will do so much more for his quote unquote legacy than him choking out Gaethje in round 2.
Yeah.
It doesn't do a whole lot for me. I think his legacy, I think it's Armin and then maybe Oliveira again. Gaethje doesn't do it for me
at all.
I mean, they're all up there for They're all up there for Paddy as well.
Everyone knows how that fight's going to go. I mean, Gaethje Paddy would be a great fight. Honestly, also that'd be another Barstool blood match.
Yeah, and I said that to Dave when he called him out. I was like, "This could be fucking good."
I think it'd be a great fight. We talk about in the post show. I think anyone in the top 4 is like fair game for Paddy. Yeah. I think those are the only. Poirier's got his Holloway fight. I think everyone kind of knows that. Yeah. So I think Gaethje. I don't think they're going to do Armin, unless maybe they do. I don't know if they do Paddy Armin. I don't think they would.
I know Paddy said at this point he's not interested in fighting down in rankings, only fighting up. Do you think there's any chance they say, "Hey, Paddy, would you fight Moicano?" Or do you think he's already past that? He's passed him in the rankings. I think he beat Chandler. So it's like
I think he's past it.
But
yeah, I think he might be too.
The only thing that I see there is Paddy being told, "Fight Moicano in London, headline. You beat him. We have Islam Topuria. And if Topuria wins, we give you Topuria. You get the next title."
Maybe something like that. Like that wouldn't shock me. I don't think that's the most likely scenario, but it wouldn't shock me if they went there and wanted him as a headliner. I mean,
that's that though.
Headline a London card at this point.
That his last 4 fighters or 4 fights or 3 fights, the fighters are like 0-14,
0-13 or something. Yeah, that's not great. But look at the fighters in front of him. It's fucking King Green. It's Michael Chandler. Like Michael Chandler going into that fight, a lot of people thought Chandler was going to take his head off.
This is UFC knows what they want. They want Paddy versus Ilia at some point, and I think it's real. It's a lot closer than we realize, and also I don't think Dana will give a fuck that they'll just be like, "No, Paddy's got like he's past."
They did Cheeto 100%. O'Malley when Cheeto was number 6 just because of the grudge match there. Like you could definitely figure out a scenario where you get those two in the cage together.
They have to. It has to happen.
Robbie, did Dave mention why Bussin wasn't there for Chandler? He didn't, but he mentioned that he talked to him before the event. Was like, "Hey, are you guys going to be there?" And they said no. They must have had some kind of like important obligation. I know that they always try to get out for Chandler fight, so we were surprised. I think we would have had more fun if they were there. It would have been like more fun, friendly rivalry.
And like, I mean, Trump was there too, and it was probably we guessed Trump was going. It's Florida. Trump loves going to those. It's almost like a rally for him. So, yeah, I mean, this was a great point by Mitt Romney, who, by the way, Mitt Romney's been making a lot of our clips. Almost all of them, outside of the ones that are obviously screen recorded on my phone. The ones that actually look like they have production value, Mitt Romney's been doing them. Thank you, Mitt. It's really impressive you do that, even though you're still a politician. But Burns Morales being moved to Apex off of an already bad pay-per-view card sucks.
Yeah. Burns also was trying to give Michael Chandler advice mid-round. When Michael Chandler kicked Paddy in the nuts, he looked out to the crowd and Burns was going uppercut, and Chandler locked eyes with him, uppercut, and he was like, "Yeah."
They were both Sanford guys, right?
Yeah, they are. No, they trained together.
Yeah,
they've trained together for a long time.
Yeah. So I saw it mid-round. I almost wanted to be like, "No coaching!" Fucking yell at Burns.
Was Juliana Pena yelling at all?
No, but she was like front row, and she made eye contact with me in the same way that Gaethje made eye contact with Dave. I think she might have recognized me. We've interviewed her a couple times at this point, so I think she made eye contact. Was like, "I think I recognize that guy," and kept it moving.
We were on the countdown with her.
Yeah, yeah, that's
It
true.
was hysterical. They had like it was the big three of podcasting. It was like Joe Rogan, like somebody else big, and then Spinning Backfist.
Yeah.
Oh, it was like Good Morning America or some shit like that.
Yeah, yeah. What else happened? The Pitbull fight. Dave was kind of fascinated with the history of Pitbull, and I was kind of telling him like, oh yeah, the funny Dave thing. I told him, oh, this arguably one of the greatest Bellator fighters of all time, face of Bellator for a long time. Told him the history with Chandler, UFC debut, broke down Yair for him, and I broke down everything for him. Dave was sitting there. He goes, it's probably not great for the Pitbull community because I assume his nickname being Pitbull, it doesn't mean that he's like a nice guy. It means that he's a fighter. And I was like, well, that is essentially what he's saying by that. And Dave's like, I don't like it. He was immediately out on him because of the Pitbull nickname. He's such a Miss Peaches guy. He was not having it. He's like, I don't like that. You could have a nickname, Pitbull.
Also, if they just adopt on the broadcast, like it just says Pitbull.
Yeah. Which I kind of like. It's like he is Pitbull. Too. That's fucking him at this point. You know, like, I have a Pitbull myself. And sure, it's bad PR, but it's like you don't watch Pitbull fight and you're like, man, I really shouldn't get a dog now. Like, come on.
I guess I've never connected the two. Probably because I don't have a Pitbull, but like, yeah, I've never connected to. I was just like, oh, that's Pitbull. Like he's just a Pitbull.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't think when I think of like Dale Pitbull, I don't think dogs right away.
Yeah, that is also.
That's what I was going to say. Mr. 305.
Yeah.
And then anything else, pay-per-view wise, night wise, the Florida Gators were there. They didn't give them great seats.
No, they threw them up in the middle of.
They were okay, yeah. But they were like trying to get Dave's attention from up above when we were leaving.
See the tall guy?
Fucking Gator thing. Yeah, the tall guy with the title.
7'9". He was 7'9".
Yeah.
And he had like a Florida Gators. It was like I think it's the WWE makes like the replica titles for teams specifically now with their logo on it.
Did you see what's her name? Yeah. The WWE Australian chick.
Rhea Ripley. Yeah, I didn't like. She was sitting with the fighters, so I saw her from afar. But the WWE fan in me thought it was cool that she was the next one they cut to after me and Dave. I was like,
oh yeah, that is true.
And me and Dave were both saying, we were like, when they said, Dave, we're going to show you on camera, I said, you either got to hope that you're first or you got a good grouping of fighters that people don't care about. Luckily, we were first. So it was like, I didn't want it to be like someone gets a huge, fucking Dan Severn gets a huge pop, and then they showed Dave, and it wasn't like as big because UFC fans are more ride or die for their fighters. But it was good because we were first. Then it was Rhea gets a pop. Then it was a couple other people. And then Tai Tuivasa ended it with a shoey, and people went nuts. So that was like, all right, it was a good one to cap it off. It was a good grouping of celebs they put.
Ty's never going to fight again. And I think it's over.
I saw him leaving. All due respect, no disrespect. He's a big guy. He is a big guy. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if he's going to fight again.
I think he's got his own like weed company now. He's got a few different things going on business wise.
Yeah.
He might have one more in him. He could maybe cut.
Yeah. 55. I like sign what was that guy, the Vanilla Gorilla? Sign Chase Sherman again and just give Ty like a send-off fight, you know?
I feel like Chase Sherman is like the co-main event of like every like game bred like bare knuckle MMA, like any of these like other like little random ones. He's always like the main or co-main event of them.
Yeah. What else? Is there anything? I think that was pretty much it for UFC 314 in terms of stories and what the night held and all
Hall
that.
Of Fame.
Yeah, awkward timing at like the UFC probably had that planned months in advance, but for her to be like nodding along to "Are you coming out of retirement?" at the press conference, and then 24 hours later they're putting her in the Hall of Fame. It's like it is what it is, I guess. Rey Mysterio went into the Hall of Fame last year or the year before, and he didn't even say he was going to retire. They were just like, I know you're still active, but we're going to throw you in there.
Do you think the UFC would even want it if Juliana Pena won?
Like the Amanda Nunes comeback?
Because I'm saying like if Kayla Harrison wins, it's a huge fight.
Super
but like
fight,
if it's Pena, like we've seen it a few times already. Like, we know what it is.
And it's like, what's going to happen? Nunez is going to come back. If she beats her, is she going to retire again?
Beat
Or
beat Pena and then just retire. And then you just have to do a vacant
Yeah.
all over again with like
reset.
the same group of girls that you just did this.
You might be right.
2 years.
She might be saying she's coming out of retirement because she's so confident in Kayla.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the fight the UFC
Also,
wants. That's a good fight.
Did you see the hat she was wearing? People thought was a Biden hat, and it wasn't a Biden hat.
Balenciaga.
That's we said it in the group chat. Lee said
Oh,
Biden. And I said, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's a Balenciaga hat.
I saw people giving her shit, and then afterwards I saw that wasn't Biden. It would have been like kind of ballsy to be like, "Hey, Dana, Biden," right now, you know.
Also tough to wear. I mean, like the president who just, I guess he didn't lose, but who just, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like it's not like a team where you're like, "We'll get him next season."
Because it had the black label over it, so I almost think people thought like, did they make her put a black label over Biden? But it's just like a very
that's definitely what people thought.
Cool guy designer thing. I'm pretty sure that's what. Because I remember the little like Balenciaga has the little like red, white, and blue thing over. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Balenciaga.
Yeah. Also, in terms of fighters in the crowd that got like the biggest pop when they just walk out of the tunnel into their seat, like not even like on the screen, I think it was Moicano. Like Moicano walked out and people went fucking nuts. Like people around me were going, "Who's that guy?" Like casual fans, "Who's that guy?" And I had to tell them, "Oh, this guy, Hanada Moicano. They call him Money Moicano. He fucking wants money." And I thought he had such a funny tweet when he said, "Paddy the Baddy 2024, easy money. Paddy the Baddy 2025, not so easy."
Not easy money.
Surprisingly, like fighters usually won't even like show a little bit of self-awareness, or they won't let their guard down a little to make a joke like that. And I like that Moicano's still like, "No, fuck it. He had a good performance. He not so easy now."
And especially after Paddy like roasted him for tapping.
I know, yeah.
That was real. I thought he would like not give him any props, but I mean, Moicano's is a funny guy.
He is a funny guy, yeah. I feel like Paddy, obviously, the beef existed for a reason. But when the dust settles, I feel like Paddy would get along with him. They just like talking shit, you know?
Yeah. It's not genuine bad blood.
No.
Colby
yeah.
won at Paddy, which was like just very just.
What are you doing? Like, who are you to call out someone?
You're not even the same.
Not even in your weight class. Yeah, on a skid like you're on right now. To be like, "Paddy, your opponents suck." It's like, well, if he beat you, you would add to his fucking opponents being defeated or whatever the record.
Well, Colby's one of Colby's stats.
Lights out on Colby.
Is one of Colby's stats even was like his last win was against like it was like everyone was retired. I know Robbie Lawler came back, but then his
last win is Masvidal.
Yeah, but he was not in the UFC.
I was shocked he wasn't there, by the way. Shocked I didn't see Masvidal.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think of that.
I thought he would be like the celeb. Trump's there too. Like he's a huge Trump guy. Like that seemed like the spot. He must have had something going on.
Yeah, I am surprised he wasn't there.
And then that was, of course, UFC 314. What we got to talk about as well, the PFL World Tournament, which is here, featuring 64 of the best MMA fighters from around the globe competing in single elimination. It's awesome. We love the PFL, of course. 8 weight classes, 8 fighters per weight class. The season already kicked off, and we've got fights this weekend as well. Fights in 3 days. These are out of Universal, right? This is the second card out of Universal.
This is Orlando. We're at the 3rd week of the tournament. Last week there was a huge upset. I think it was finished 8-1 underdog. A guy Russian lost at a Habib's camp, Masimov or something. But yeah, there's been a great start to the tournament for the PFL. You saw Justin Wetzel beat Kasimov. Wetzel closed as a plus 700 underdog. I mean, that's one of the biggest upsets of the MMA year. And so we can't wait to see. And then this weekend, this Friday, Av and I were talking about before, one of the best cards that they have put together in a little bit. And I'm very excited for it.
Tons
I think
of
it's the
names
best
you would
card, like
recognize.
action wise. They're like top to bottom, just like bangers, action fighters. And I think now you're getting to the nice stage where you're seeing some some really strong PFL guys, some really strong Bellator guys face off. Always nice to see the kind of like the, even though I know they're under the same umbrella now, little like cross promotion fights, like see where people stack up. Some really, really good fights.
The main event's great. Fabian Edwards versus Impa.
Two, I guess, title challenger and champ from
Impa's minus 180. A little bit surprised by that. Fabian always kind of disappoints to me. I think Impa is kind of safe there, but the lines came down. I think he was at minus 200 earlier in the week. Very interested in that one first round. And then Dalton Rasta against Sadabusi is a fascinating matchup. Sadabusi has gone from like 170 all the way up to 205. I mean, this guy's been all over the place weight class wise, but an unbelievable striker. Robbie, I think you and I saw in Atlanta one of the greatest knockouts I've ever seen in person. It was just the guy's striking is unbelievable. He works out at Extreme Couture. Dalton Rasta, big bar stool guy, Pittsburgh.
Was that when we were there with Dwight Howard?
Yes, and the chess box
Same night
guy.
we were explaining fighting to Dwight Howard's kids. He was
like,
remember Dwight Howard's kids. He's like, why can't he kick him in the nuts? And I was like, that's not allowed.
and then a big signing for PFL, random signing, but ex-UFC guy Nick Maximoff out of I think he still fights under like the Stockton Diaz camp.
Was he the one that Diaz was like, you could fight my boy, and he's talking about Nick?
Yeah, he was gonna fight Hamzat. He was gonna fight Hamzat at one point.
Like, nah, fuck that. He could fight my boy. And he's like, what? Me? What?
Speaking of former UFC guys, Gadzi Rabinov is fighting Mark Diakase. We saw Rabinov knock a guy silly out in Hollywood last year. He's a Habib guy. He's really good. I think I'm waiting for the lines to come out. If I could get a decent submission line, I think he finds a finish here. I think there's going to be some violence here. Clay Collard against Alfie Davis is a banger of that's going to be
the fact that that's not like that. That's down on the card too. Like it speaks to how good the card is. That Clay Collard is pretty low on the prelims.
Yeah, and then I'm really Aaron Jeffrey, Canadian against Murad Ramazanov, and then Josh Silveira is a guy that always brings it. That fight against Impa that we saw in Hollywood last year was a banger, and he ended up coming up short, but he pushed. I think he hurt Impa at one point. It was an unbelievable fight. Yeah. Josh, I think, has been in finals before too. PFL, I don't think he's ever won a championship, but first round, 2 weight classes, 8 fights. It's going to be phenomenal. I can't wait Friday night. I think this one's early. I think it starts around 4 and then 7 p.m. on ESPN.
Actually, got 10 fights.
5 p.m. Eastern, it says on the PFL website, of course, ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN Plus. It's going to be good. We're excited for it. Just a few days away, and it's going to be a great weekend of combat sports. I know people will get real annoyed when I'll lump wrestling into combat sports because it's WrestleMania, but you know what I'm talking about. I know it's a difference. It's going to be good. Shout out to the PFL, shout out UFC for, of course, taking care of us this weekend. And we will talk to you next time on the Spinnin Backfist MMA show. See you then.